Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new video. If you are see the backlog of this channel, you probably know that I've been doing these types of videos since I think 2023 or 2022, where I rank halfway through favorite movies, books, sometimes video games, on a tier list, just to kind of see where I'm at with everything I read, watched, played this year. It's more of like almost like a diary entry kind of thing, but I publish it just so if people are interested to know what I like and dislike. Couple things that I'll add to this video down below. I am starting a Star Wars podcast. I know, very unique idea, with my good friend Tyler. It's called The Last Parsec Tonight. We have the first episode pretty much done, but we're gonna wait to see if it's consistent, and then if it is, then we'll publish those episodes. And then you get to, if I could sell you on the concept, basically it's my friend Tyler's really into the Star Wars lore, all the new stuff, and I have been like out of the franchise since the Obi-Wan show, and not because of like it went woke, but like because I've just fallen in love with Star Wars. So this podcast is trying to get me back into loving Star Wars again. He's the optimist, I'm the nihilist. That's basically how it goes. But yeah, so that'll be coming out soonish. I don't want to put a timeline on things because I learned with Black Hudson, we to no fault of our own, we would just be like, yeah, we're definitely going to do this, and then we didn't do it. So I'm not putting any timeline on it or anything. It's just another fun thing. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the books that I've read. Now, I will timestamp down below how these are kind of ordered. I ordered them from horror books, fantasy books, sci-fi books, and then going into comics, you got your indie stuff, and then like mostly the new stuff that has come out in the last year or two, and then like older runs that I'm reading now. So yeah, a couple rereads on this round, but you know what? Who cares? Anyways, check it out. All right, so let's start with My Heart is a Chainsaw. I thought this book was good. I thought it was pretty good. Nothing crazy. Basically, it's about this girl who, there's some killings in her town, and she's a big like slasher fan, so she starts to notice all these different this is kind of like a slasher movie, and sure enough, there is a slasher going around town and stuff like that, and it's all about her discovering that. It's a good, decent book. With horror books, it's really hard to impress me. I mean, I love the genre. Obviously, if you've seen these videos before, there have been streaks where I just read a bunch of horror books, but I've never had a wow moment. You know, you get a Stephen King one, but Stephen King horror isn't even like terrifying, you know? I can't remember the last time I read a book where like I literally could not sleep at night. I could name a movie, I could name a bunch of analog horror stuff, but like not really a book. But yeah, let me know down below if I should check out any good horror books. I too much gore is cringe, you know, where it's just like, and you threw the baby on the floor and it went pew! Like that shit is cringe to me. But like if you actually have like dark, moody atmosphere, books or stuff like that. I've even included some no sleep stories that they came out as novels. I reviewed those before. Well, not reviewed, but placed them on this list and stuff like that from the previous years. So yeah, like I'm open to anything as long as it's not cringe. Okay, and then next up we have I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. This is a very infamous short story. I would say this is good. A little dated, but that's okay. You know, it's basically about this dystopian world where an AI takes over, and it's about, I think, 4 or 5 people that like live under this like AI's rule, and like the AI just tortures them constantly. There's actually a video game made on this by the author actually helped out with the script and stuff. That looks interesting. Maybe I'll play that. I think it's on Steam. So that might be a possibility. Let me know if you would want me to live stream that or something like that. But yeah, so honestly, I don't want to say much about it because it's only like 20 pages. Like if you're interested in it, read it. Then we have Incidences Around the House. This one was okay. Incidents Around the House kind of follows that trend of like the metaphorical monster. It does a decent job at that. It's a interesting, quick book. I think it's like barely even 300 pages. You could get through it fairly easily. Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. Then we have The Yellow Wallpaper. Now this one is about, it's kind of a time period piece. It's a short story. Basically, I forget what time period exactly, but like wives who had just given birth to the baby, or wives, sorry, women who would give birth. Well, back then you pretty much be married, but like you would have a kid, but then like I think it's called something depression. It's like after the kid is born, you sometimes women get like really depressed. I don't know if it's like in general every woman does, but like women's issues jack. But basically they would put you in this room until you like calmed down or went back to normal. And this book was written actually back in the day. It was a pretty controversial piece about this woman who just like goes insane because yeah, like obviously, you know, just shoving a person in a room and being like calm down, that's not really gonna help much. And the lady starts seeing stuff in the wallpaper and it's pretty spooky. I recommend it. It's good. It is good. I would put it like right here. All right, then we have the Shadows of the Silence of the Forest. I've read mostly Brandon Sanderson this year, but like I was like, I'm gonna catch up to Cosmere. Not that I hate it. Obviously, I don't hate it. I love Brandon Sanderson books, but it's just like it was like 3 or 4 months in a row just reading Brandon Sanderson. I was like, all right, I need some variation and stuff, and I haven't really gone back to it. I plan to eventually catch up to the Cosmere. Whether it'll happen this year or not, I don't know, because I loved Mistborn. I loved the Mistborn trilogy. I finished the first one again last year. I had read it like twice already. And then finally I finished the original trilogy, and we'll get into my opinions on that, but I think highly of it. But I don't know, just a lot of one author, like even with the Sun Eater series yesterday, I read a lot of Sun Eater last year, but like I was just like, okay, I'm ready to like diversify my taste a little bit. I'm not one of those where I can just read through a series, but yeah, I like to take breaks in between. But yeah, this one was meh. It was something about like a bar maiden and them hunting these creatures. It was like the most meh thing so far. None of these I would say are awful, just either okay or below average, pretty much. That's where the meh kicks in. The 11th Metal. This one is basically about Kelsier before the events of the first Mistborn book, aka the Final Empire. This one just follows Kelsier and he finds the 11th metal. It still does go into detail what the 11th metal does, but it's just a little... It was basically, I think, like, it's part of, like, a Mistborn tabletop or D&D guide or something like that Brandon Sanderson just kind of added in there, but then added into, like, his short story collection and stuff like that. But yeah, it's okay. It's good. It's just basically, if you liked Kelsier, here's more of him. So, but yeah, it's pretty okay. Same thing with The Hope of Elantris. This was actually written after the fact. One of Brandon Sanderson's, she wasn't his wife yet, but like his wife or his girlfriend at the time, one of her students actually read the entire thing of Elantris and wrote a book report of it. So he wrote like a little add along to it and stuff. It's like it takes place during, I think, the ending events of Elantris, and it's an interesting read if you still want to keep in that world. Brandon Sanderson's going to do a sequel to both Elantris and Warbreaker sometime soon, so that'll be interesting to see. So yeah, and then we have the Emperor's Soul. This is really good. I would even say it's great. If you are like, I don't want to commit to Mistborn, just give me something, give me a little taster of what Brandon Sanderson's writing is like and stuff like that. I highly recommend Emperor's Soul. It's a really cool concept. Basically, you can rewrite objects and stuff into something different. So let's just say this is an old wooden chair. You could rewrite that chair's history to it being like a throne, is how that basically works. And then with that, you could also rewrite a whole person's history, which is like a soul stamp. So basically, the emperor dies, the council or whatever, I don't remember the exact details, but they're like, hey, you are a very good forger. I think they're called forgers. Forge the emperor's soul so that he's alive and stuff. And basically it's all about this forger, and she tries to also escape, but also has to help recreate the emperor's soul and stuff like that, which means she has to have like all his diaries and stuff like that. It's really, really good. I hope this turns into like an animated short on like Netflix or something, so like people get familiar with Brandon Sanderson before the eventual Brandon Sanderson movie, because it's gonna happen. Brandon Sanderson is like the most well-known fantasy author right now, so one of his works is bound to get an adaptation. Hopefully it's good. And then we have Warbreaker. I liked Warbreaker. I thought it was very good. This one has biochromatical breath as a power, which can do different things like manipulate objects and such. It was really fun. It was really cool. A lot of unique characters and stuff. It's definitely a step above Elantris. Elantris was like Cosmere homework, everyone likes to say. Even the Sanderson slant, which basically in the fandom of Sanderson slant is like, so like Sanderson will have most of the book is set up, and then like the last 100 pages, like all the falling action, everything that's been built up just goes into motion and stuff. And it's like very exhilarating and stuff like that. Yeah, Elantris was basically Cosmere homework, but that was great because when I read Way of Kings, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I know one of these characters, so that's pretty cool. It's basically like, yeah, it's crossovery, but it's not to the point where like major characters are interacting with each other. It's more like, oh, there are world hoppers and they keep reappearing and stuff like that, and like certain similarities to planets in the Cosmere happen and such like that. It's the Cosmere lore is so good. Let me put this somewhat last because that's the Mistborn era too. Well of Ascension, the second book in the original Mistborn trilogy. I think this is great. I know a lot of people said this was slow, but I honestly loved it because basically it took one of the characters. Basically in the first book, a major thing happens and it's like, okay, how do you economically and how do you rule over a land after you destroy like a major figure? that's all I'm gonna try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, and it's basically all about that. There is an unnecessary love triangle, and one of the character death that happens, and then it doesn't mean anything else in the entire series. This character dies, and one of the characters is like, oh, that was a thing, and then they just move on. Like, it's like, what the fuck. So the Vin stuff, the stuff is really good. Baez is like, no, Baez is from, what is his name? Syed? No. Sazed? Sazed. I think it's Sazed. Hold on, let me look this up. It's been so long. I did a whole video on this too, so check that out. Let's see. Come on. Mistborn characters. I think it's Sazed. Sazed, yeah. Sazed's arc is really interesting. Although, what's even better, Siri, what's even better is Age of Heroes. Now, some people, and this is just a critique on Brandon Sanderson's work, is Brandon Sanderson is Mormon. Brandon Sanderson is very religious. Not to the detriment of his work, at least in my opinion. A lot of people say, oh, a lot of Sanderson's work is like religious fan fiction and stuff like that. I say no. I say yes, the author happens to be religious, and that is reflective of his work. But it's not to a distracting point. I myself am not a religious person, but like the themes didn't distract me, and I thought that they actually tackled it pretty interesting. Sazed plays a huge role in this. He's fantastic. Vin's character is fantastic. Ellen's fantastic. All the characters that you love, they kind of get like a good. It's one of like the best conclusions I've read in like a trilogy for like fantasy books. Usually, sometimes they like end on a whimper kind of thing, but like this ending is definitive and it's really fantastic. The Alloy of Law, this is Mistborn Era 2. This is the start of Mistborn Era 2. I was just having so much fun with Mistborn. I was going to go, like, you could kind of see I started to be like, okay, I have to follow, like, the start guide and stuff like that. But, like, honestly, I was just having so fun with Mistborn, and, like, the Stormlight Archive books are good, but they're just a lot. And I wanted to get through a couple series this year. So I was like, let me just get through all of Mistborn. Then I'll just get through then I'll really focus, like, putting the in-betweens on Stormlight. But right now, I just want to read Mistborn because I really like that world. And this was, yeah, it was good. Alloy, it's more of a Western with the Mistborn powers and stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see kind of like a fantasy Western. I feel like we don't get a lot of those. But yeah, it's kind of like a fun swashbuckling adventure with a couple characters that I was like, wait a minute. Sound a little familiar from previous era, because like this series like takes place, I don't know, like 500 years, maybe even more after the first era of Mistborn. So there's certain little similarities and stuff that if you're paying attention, you'll pick up on. But yeah, Alloy of the Law was pretty good. Then we have The Way of Kings. This is, I'm going to put this top 3. I have read this book twice now, and I have not progressed past that. But I am no longer Like, even if like it's 2 years from now and I'm like, I don't really remember Way of Kings, I will just read a summary instead of having to reread the book, even though it is a fantastic book and I'm actually absolutely gonna reread it at some point. But I gotta continue. I gotta know what else happens in the series. I have this mindset whenever like I like let me pick up the series again. Instead of starting where I left off, I just literally I'm gonna reread the whole thing again, and then I just end up not reading the entire series. So I'm gonna stop doing that now. This is my last time for a while that I'm gonna read The Way of Kings. But that being said, it's still very, very good. Brandon Sanderson knows how to create a fast-paced, long-ass novel, and the setup for everything is fantastic. The characters are great. Kaladin is fucking awesome. Dalinar Kholin, sick. Adolin's pretty cool. What is her name again? The girl sis? I feel like I should know this. Let me look it up again, because I'm... Welcome to Love Island. Today, Jack is a dumb idiot in the villa. Archive characters. What is her name again? What is her name? No, I don't want images. Shallan. That's it. Shallan. Jesus. Hey, Shallan. All those characters are really good. Yeah, I like them a lot. And the world building is so in detailed and great. Bridge 4, 10 out of 10. Those are the boys right there. Yeah, no, very, very good. Yeah. Then we have, this is like the only book 2025 book that I've read. All these are from past years and stuff like that. By that I mean like that came out this year. Joe Abercrombie. I feel like it's although it's Abercrombie. I love Abercrombie. But is it better than Wells of Ascension? No. Joe Abercrombie, if you don't know who he is, he wrote the First Law trilogy, which is a fantastic trilogy. And then after that, a sequel trilogy called The Age of Madness, also fantastic. And then 3 more spin-off books that are also great. One of them supposedly is going to be turned into a movie, Best Served Cold, although that has kind of been on the brinks. But actually, James Cameron, this book, he's like, we got to make this into a movie. So James Cameron's production company is going to be making The Devils. And basically, if anyone can sell you the pitch on The Devils, it's like, hey, Suicide Squad, but medieval times. It's pretty bare bones. It's about a lost princess who has to get to the capital of her kingdom, basically, where her castle is and stuff like that. She was like a lost sibling. And the church is like, all right, we'll send you our Black Ops team, which is basically a bunch of, well, devils. There's a vampire, there's a werewolf, there's a pirate, bounty hunter lady, there's an elf, and his version of the elves are really, really interesting. I haven't really seen them depicted that way before. And a wizard, well, magician, as he says. And one of the top, what does he say? One of the top 3 or top 4, depending on who you ask, necromancers of that world. And it's really, really like fun humor. Like I don't laugh at books normally, but God, I just crack a smile every time. And Stephen Pacey's narration for the audiobooks, like top probably number 1 audiobook narrator ever. Like his voice fits the tone. You can always tell who's talking and stuff like that. Like he has a different accent and everything for every character. It's so good. Then we have The Forgetting Moon, which is the first part of the 5 Angel Warriors trilogy. And this one is not talked a lot. This one is very slept on. There's a couple booktubers that review the first book but didn't read the others. I don't understand that at all, because this is some good stuff. Okay, I like The Forgetting Moon. It's like, imagine the Crusades with like holier than thou weapons, and basically it's like the whole, it's very apparent, but like the whole series is like a kind of a look at religion from the outside, just viewing it like historically. Like basically these people worship stuff that actually happened like 1,000 years ago, but now they worship it like it's its own religion and stuff, and people have different interpretations of what the 5 warriors' wills are, and it's just really fascinating. And it's like a jumping POV series. My personal favorite is Nail, but in the second book they introduce, well, they don't introduce one of the characters. So they introduce this concept of like, I think they're called Bloodwoods. I don't know. I'm right in the middle of the second one, Blackest Heart, right now. But that's very interesting. Like, it's basically like an intense assassin, and it's really, really cool. It's a cool concept, and we actually follow a character who is a Bloodwood assassin, their POV and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. And the way the first book ended, I was just like, oh my, I'm already in love with this. It's so good. And I don't really have a problem with any of the POV characters. Like normally in those types of situations where you have multiple POVs, like Bran in like Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire, like you're just like, fuck, it's a Bran chapter. But I didn't really get that with this. I found all the characters really, really interesting to read and stuff. That could all change, of course, but this is a strong first impression. This is like, if you are like, okay, I'm casually reading fantasy, but I want like one of the chunky boys that I see people reading. One of the big chunky books. What should I read first of that? I would say Forgetting Moon is fantastic for your first chunky boy, you know. With the chunky fantasy like that, it's a great beginner's guide for that one. A great 800-page opener, because it basically it's all set up, but like it really gets you invested in characters. And then the second book just launches you right into it. I would highly recommend reading it back to back. And it's a trilogy, so it's not like the Wheel of Time where you're like, okay, oh, I got through the slog book. There's another slog book. Oh my god! But Wheel of Time is so worth it. But yeah, this is good first series for a little bit chunkier. Then we have the Odyssey. Obviously, the Odyssey is a masterpiece. I forget which translation I read. Well, this is the cover of the one I read. I know there are different translations that are probably better and stuff, but like this one took me a while to read just because, you know, it's not straightforward narrative. So sometimes I was like, what is going on? So I had to kind of wiki it a little bit here and there. But very, very good. Obviously, a literary classic. What influenced me was Christopher Nolan's coming out with a Odyssey movie, which I can't wait for. I just hope they show the gods, because in the beginning of the fucking book, it's like, hey, let's all decide on what we're going to do with Odysseus. Like, I feel like Nolan's going to make it a metaphorical thing, and God damn it, I want to see fucking Zeus in person and Athena and shit. Okay, I want to see him. I want to see a fucking Cyclops. I don't want, oh, it's a Cyclops and it's just a big dude with like an eye patch. No. Nolan, give me a Cyclops, god damn it. But yeah, obviously it's a literary classic. I only put it below because this is based on enjoyability. And while I love the Odyssey, it's one of the most, you know, famous hero stories. The Age of Heroes was so good. But yeah. And then we have a New Spring. I got a little depressed when even though I didn't really like the show, just the fact that there's not going to be any more also makes me sad, is the Wheel of Time show got canceled. So there's not going to be a fourth season. And I heard this season they really picked up on things again. So I was like, all right, I already did a reread of the series like 2 years ago. Let me start with New Spring, which normally if you're doing your first read through, I think you either read it after book 5 or after book 6. I don't remember. But I was like, all right, I'll just start with Moraine and Lan's journey again. Basically, the events leading up to them going to the Two Rivers to find the dragon. It's mostly focused on Moraine for the most part, but it's still interesting to kind of see where the characters are at that point. The only reason why people, even though this is technically the first in the timeline, is because it alludes to stuff that happens in a later book, so that's why you should probably read it a little later on your first read through. But I thought I would just pick it up. But yeah, I probably won't read the rest of the Wheel of Time this year. I was yelling out like, yeah, I'm gonna do it again, and I was like, no, I will eventually, because Wheel of Time is great. But I would put this like right top of the morning. Come on, there we go. All right, then we have Stephen King's The Gunslinger, the Dark Tower series. I stopped again. I remember a long time ago I read the third one and then never continued on with the series. I got like maybe halfway through the fourth one, Wizard and Glass, and I'm like, you know what, this year I start so many series that I don't know if I'm gonna finish this year. But that's just the guy I am. That's just the book reader I am. But The Gunslinger is very good. That's just introducing Royland, and then the drawing of 3 is where like it gets to the great territory, and it just like that's where the real weird stuff in the Dark Tower comes in. And I have 2 reviews of those on my channel if you want to check that out. So yeah, I would recommend it if you like it. Like if you've been like, all right, what does Stephen King fantasy look like? It looks like cowboys addicted to cocaine, and I am all for it. Yeah, so if you like, all right, I've read a bit of fantasy, I want something different. Dark Tower, definitely different. And with the drawing of three, the three main protagonists are set, and then the third one goes in. I don't really remember the third one, I'll be honest. I gotta reread it. But anyways, Assassin's Apprentice. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna put this here. And people have already said that this is like the weakest out of the Robin Hobb series, the Realm of the Elderlings, I believe it's called. And because this book is low, I mean, it kind of, something does happen within the last part of the book, but like a lot, this is all just build up of the main character Fritz, and that is all it is. And Fritz is an interesting character, don't get me wrong, it's important. This book is important. I feel like this book is definitely important, and when I read the next two books, which I heard like incredible, like I'll be like, oh, that was completely necessary, because I've heard a lot of people just drop this book, and I've dropped it before. This is my first time completing Assassin's Apprentice, and I hear from there it just gets better and better. So yeah, no, I'm excited to continue on with the rest of the series. I'll probably do a trilogy a year, maybe, or I don't know if it captures me. Maybe I'll just continue Realm of the Elderlings. Who knows what happens? But yeah, then we have the Stormlight, or nope, the Dresden Files. I had already read these two before. I am planning on reading every Dresden book before. These are just such quick reads. Before, I think January is when the next book comes out. I'm gonna catch up completely. I have them all physically, mass paperback editions. I am committing myself to reading 2 Dresden books a month. So by the time January reaches around, I should be caught up. But yeah, I mean, the fandom says like the first 6 books are really just like meh. It's not till the 7th book when things get really good. But like, I don't know. I like Dresden as a character. Now he comes off a little Reddit Fedora My Lady a little bit in these early books, but you know, like, it's just I like detective noir stuff mixed with fantasy, and this is that's pretty much what the Dresden Files are. Full Moon is like so fast paced, it's crazy, to the point where you kind of get like whiplash. You're like, all right, let's slow down. And then Stormfront was like his first work ever published, so there's a couple nooks and crannies in there, you know, that aren't great. But I don't know, they're just really they're fun books. They're like perfect for like if you're on like an airplane or whatever and you have like time to kill, like a 4-hour flight, you could easily finish one of these. They're really fun. Yeah. And we have Star Wars Path of Destruction. I'll put this right here. This is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, Darth Vader. Actually, no, I'm gonna put this a little higher. I really do enjoy this fucking trilogy. I will finish the Darth Bane trilogy again. I finished it before a while ago. But yeah, Darth Bane is like one of my favorite characters. Basically what Darth Bane did toward the end of the Old Republic era is he was like, hey, let's bring back the Sith rule of 2, because during the Old Republican era there's certain subsections of Sith and stuff like that, and then Darth Bane comes in and he's like, hey, no, like there's supposed to be 2 Sith, like in the old text, an apprentice and a master. And basically the master teaches everything he can to the apprentice, then the apprentice kills the master and then the apprentice becomes a master and then takes on a new apprentice, and that cycle repeats. That's why the dark side is like so fucking powerful. And yeah, the first part of the Darth Bane trilogy is great. The other 2 books are really good. It's basically, in the second one I believe he takes on an apprentice, and then the third one, well, I'll let you read on. If that concept sounds fascinating to you, then you got to read the Darth Bane trilogy. Then we have Red Rising. Obviously, I love Red Rising. Love it, love it. I mean, can you tell? I have a signed from, I think, Lit Escalates, the Red Rising store. That's signed by Pierce Brown. I love Red Rising. I'm going to do a whole reread of the series and prep for Red God next year. And I'll probably reread it again next year, too, because Red Rising is like my favorite series of all time. And you know what? Top 3. Now, yeah, the first book is the weakest out of them, and it's like, oh, well, it fucking harps on, what you would call it, Hunger Games a little bit. It's like, no, like barely, and it launches you into one of the greatest modern sci-fi soap operas. So, like, yeah, it's totally worth it. Yeah, it is. It's just so worth it. Basically, there's a society where it's color structured, where like certain colors, the golds are the highest. They're like the rulers of, the. Why does Siri keep trying to talk to me? Stop it. Basically, the golds like rule this like multi-planet empire, and then the reds are the bottom of the barrel. And this is all about one red named Darrow of motherfucking Lycos rising up, creating a rebellion to take down the golds by becoming one of the golds and infiltrating them. It's so fucking good. And I can't wait to reread the series again. I'm at Morningstar right now. I'm loving it all over again. Yeah, so I will probably read the rest of the series like I did last year because I just love Red Rising. I used to reread Lord of the Rings all the time, like every single year I would reread it. Now, Red Rising, I do it. Although I do want to reread Lord of the Rings again eventually because I'm a psycho. Because who needs to read new things? But yeah, so Red Rising is definitely top 3 for me. It's what got me into this series, and it is literally everything I love ever. It's got mechs, it's got intergalactic politics, it's got a revenge story. It's everything I love. So yeah, of course it's gonna be top 3. Same with Demon in White. Now these two series get compared a lot, Sun Eater and Red Rising. They are very different in some ways. Like Red Rising is a lot more action-packed. Demon in White is more of a character study, an in-depth character study. Not that Red Rising isn't, but at some point it gets beyond just Darrow's character, whereas Sun Eater focuses on Hadrian Marlowe, another one of the best protagonists in fiction. Jordan is just such a fascinating character. He's so like dramatic and stuff like that. He's just great. Christopher Rocchio's prose are fantastic. It's one of my new favorite series that I'm gonna continue reading. I plan on catching up with everything for later on this year when the last Sun Eater book is coming out. So this tier list will probably be filled with Red Rising and Sun Eater stuff. So yeah, it's fantastic. Demon in White, according to the fandom, it's either Demon in White or Kingdoms of Death, which I'm currently reading now, that are the favorite. I should probably... I'll take this. Okay. Yeah, so... Alright, now let's go through the comic books I read this year. So, we have Battle Beast, which is a spin-off of the Invincible comic book series, all about, you guessed it, Battle Beast. This is a good comic book series, it's, let's see, put it like right here. It's just, I don't know. It says that if you know the character, it's just about him always trying to fight the strongest thing alive, and it's funny in the animated show, everyone's hyped about him and stuff, and it's just interesting to see where that character goes. For the Invincible fans watching this, you probably know what I'm alluding to. Yeah. Then we have Naruto and Ninja Turtles, and I thought this was okay. Yeah. It's just more like a... I mean, a lot of the crossover stuff is novelty stuff, especially when it comes to like Ninja Turtles. Like there's been Ninja Turtles Batman is probably the most popular one, then Ninja Turtles Power Rangers, which is also very good. And this one's like pretty interesting. I mean, it's interesting just to see like Sasuke and Leonardo be talking, Sakura and Raphael, and the whole cast. Naruto hanging out with Michelangelo and stuff like that. Master Splinter with Jesus, just different character interactions. It's really fun. Then we have the Jason Aaron relaunch IDW Ninja Turtles. I don't remember if I ranked this last year, but we're 9 issues in, and I think it is good. I think it's just interesting to see how different it is, because I hold the original IDW series to such a high stat. Like that's my like I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan, like a massive fan, and my favorite Ninja Turtle thing ever is the IDW series. Like that was so good. Jason Aaron, he's still building up. It's taken a bit because the first 5 really are just about characters. So now we're getting into the other half where the rest of the series is going. So it's interesting to see for sure. I think Jason Aaron can pull it off. He's a great writer. So yeah, if you want to get into Ninja Turtles now, I suggest hopping on here because the IDW stuff has ended for a while and it's a lot. I still think it's fully worth it. But if you're like, I want to get into Ninja Turtle comics, pick up this one and then pick up the rest of the old IDW stuff. Then we have Absolute Flash. This is great. This is good Absolute stuff. It's such a unique way of reintroducing the character. And it's not Barry Allen, it's Wally West. It's only 2 or 3 issues in, but I love what they're doing with the Rogues Gallery and stuff like that, and Gorilla Grodd. Like, it's such a different take on that. And the art's really good. I like it a lot. Then we have Absolute Superman. Again, Jason Aaron. I'll put this like right here. I think it's a slow start, but it is really good. I just think it's such a different interpretation of Superman. Like, there are some things I really do like, and some things I'm like, all right. Like, mostly my gripes are with this story. Like, I'm like, all right, let's really get to the meat and potatoes here. But that could just because I'm reading it like as they're coming out. I'm sure, like, I kind of want to read it all in one shot up to like what's currently out now, and then I think I'll find a new appreciation for it. But right now, it's pretty solid. It's good. Absolute Batman is fucking great. Man's just a fucking tank. And it's like Batman without all the money and stuff, and like his friends are like different characters. So like Harvey Dent, Killer Croc, Penguin, Riddler, I'm sure I'm missing some, are all like his friends that he like grew up with and stuff like that. And you know, he doesn't have the mansion or whatever. His mom's still alive. And the new fucking Bane design is awesome, because you thought Batman was a unit. Oh my god, Absolute Bane is a fucking unit, and he's like hyper intelligent too. It's so fucking good. This new arc is awesome. And we had the Mr. Freeze arc. That was pretty good. That was like a short one, like two issuer. I did really like the Black Mask. That was like such a different take on the character that I found interesting. And this is like such a different Bruce too. It's pretty good stuff. Actually, it's too early. Wonder Woman is also really fucking solid. It brings me back to the now. Wonder Woman has had on and off runs and stuff like that. I personally like the new 52 Wonder Woman, the Brian Azzarello one, but I know for Wonder Woman fans, they kind of see that as like a, I don't know. But I liked it, and this brings me back to like that kind of vibes. And it's like, it's been a continuous solid Wonder Woman run. Usually Wonder Woman runs will start off pretty strong, like the Rebirth Wonder Woman, and then like it just slowly just kind of descends. But this one has been pretty consistent. I think, again, it's been like 9 issues or something like that. And it's really fun. It's really, really good. Absolute Green Lantern. I am told, I'm like, I don't know what I don't like the artwork very much. It reads very webtoonsy, and it's not very polished. Interesting concept with what they're doing with Hal and stuff, and like a different iteration of like what the Green Lantern even is. Right now it's still early. It's only like 3 issues. I don't know if I'm gonna keep going. I don't think the writing's that strong, honestly. And I'm a big Green Lantern fan. Like, the Jeff Johns run. Hell, I have the entire Jeff Johns run in omnibus singles, and I want to start collecting the trades for the, like, that's like one of my all-time favorite series of all time for Green Lantern. My favorite runs. The Rebirth stuff was really great. The John Stewart War Journal, so fucking good. I even have like most of the new 52 run, even though some of it was like hit or miss. Like, I am a huge Green Lantern fan. I loved Far Sector. I thought that was like a really like fun like space adventure, because most Green Lantern stuff is on Earth, obviously, because they protect Sector 2814. But like that whole story is just like in like a intergalactic council, and like it's a Lantern trying to figure out the mystery behind everything. It's like actual like cop detective work, which sometimes like isn't really shown in a Green Lantern book, which it should be more often. But yeah, no, I don't know about. It's still got to sell me. Right now, it has not sold me. What has sold me was R.A. Masterpiece is fucking absolute. Martian Manhunter is so good. It was going to be a limited series up until it got so much praise and the sales were so good that they were like, we got to make this a whole series. And the same guy who wrote this is writing the Ultimates, which is also up here for me. God, it's so good. Maybe I'm hyping up a little bit too much, actually. Nah, you know what? Properly hyped. Especially that last issue. Oh my god. It's so good. Like, both of these tackle social issues incredibly well. And the Ultimates is just like, keeps expanding on the new Ultimate universe. different ways. Like that Luke Cage issue was really good. The Red Skull reveal, I was like, oh my god. It's like everything about these two series has been nothing but gold. Ultimate Wolverine, it started out, you know what, it started out like right here, great, and it's just been slowly been knocked down to the point where like the Ultimate X-Men book is, I think, pretty much canceled now. They're not doing it anymore, or they're gonna like rebrand it. It's just very odd, and like I was so, oh my god, Logan's Winter Soldier and stuff. It needs to get to where we need to start to get to plot, and the last issue finally revealed that. So I'm excited for that, but it was a long little lull of like, okay, like when are we gonna get there? But no, it's still very good. Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, I love Ultimate Spider-Man. This is so good. I've been reading a lot of Marvel. I'll be honest. I love Hickman. This is like my Spider-Man run. This is like Peter Parker is a grown-ass adult with 2 kids and a wife that loves him. Oh, you know what? We would have liked that in the mainline universe, but they won't fucking do that ever. So we have this, but this is excellent. I don't want them to touch this version of Peter at all. Even if this version of the Ultimate Universe gets destroyed, I want this to live on forever, because this is the Spider-Man book I've wanted since J. Michael Straczynski. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, if you're not reading Spider-Man right now, pick up the new Ultimate Spider-Man. It's everything everyone has wanted. Then, okay, so that was all current stuff. This is like older stuff, but older stuff I haven't read yet. The reason why I read a lot of Marvel nowadays is because I read so much of DC. Like, most of my collection is DC, and I didn't read all the like acclaimed runs. I think a year or two ago I read all of like Brian Michael Bendis's stuff from Marvel, like all the like the Avengers tie-in stuff, like that whole Avengers run I basically read up until Endgame. But yeah, so anyways, so Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, I reread the entire thing again, but I don't believe I ever put this in one of these tier list videos, which shame on me. This is some great stuff. Zdarsky's run really good. There's a little bit of a lull in there in the middle, but after that, actually, you know what? I'll be honest. The way it ended, I was not a huge fan of it. It felt kind of rushed, but the rest of the arc was really, really good. Like, I love like Matt taking a group of criminals and being like, "I'm going to reform you, goddammit," and then he does. He takes these like Z-list fucking supervillains and like takes them in, and like some of the coldest one-liners in this run too. And most of it, like most Daredevil runs nowadays, is like him not even in his suit, but it's still good. The like beginning of this run is so good, where it starts out where Matt, he's like he's getting back into the swing of things, and he accidentally kills a dude. Like, straight up, not, oh, it was a Mysterio illusion. Like, no, he accidentally kills someone. He feels fucking awful about it. There's a whole run where he's just in prison, and it's excellent, you know. Zdarsky is always the best, man. All right, then the majority of this is, you know what, before we get into Hickman stuff, Beneath the, what was this called again? Beneath the Tree Where Nobody Sees is like, it's drawn like one of those children books, but with a violent twist. It's basically this lady, every once in a while, she gets the urge to kill someone, so she goes into the city, picks up some random person, and kills them very like methodically. But then there's a serial killer in her town, and she's like, oh, no, I'm the only serial killer. So it's just very interesting. Like, this, the art is very good. It's very eerie. It's good. I think the author / artist is going to make another installment of this. But yeah, no, from what we've gotten so far, it's the art is excellent. It's literally straight out like an old Bears type of art. It's really good. All right, this is everything I read from Hickman. There's an order to this, and I stopped right at, I believe, is it New Avengers or is it Avengers that he does? I think they're simultaneous, but I just got to that point. I hadn't read much of it, which is why I didn't put it here, because like that's right after the Ultimates. I will be honest, I do not remember what happened in Hawkeye, or really the Ultimates. Maybe something impactful happened there. I just straight up don't remember. So I'm going to put those down in meh because they weren't very memorable. You know what? Honestly, same thing with Thor. Yeah. So Secret Warriors was surprisingly, talk about fucking Z-listers. But this was such a good setup. And same thing with like Shield. Shield was like, I think, Secret Wars is definitely better, but Shield was awesome. Just like all this, like you just see who's fighting. It's like Leonardo da Vinci versus, is it Sir Isaac Newton? I think, which is like, what is going on? But it's so, you just see the origins of Shield. Technically, there's two Shield series, but I kind of combined both of them here, written by Hickman. Just goes over how Shield was formulated and stuff, and it kind of also bleeds into like Secret Warriors and Hickman's other stuff. And then we have Fantastic Four by Hickman, both Future Foundation and Fantastic Four. These are great runs. I'm still not a huge fan of Fantastic Four. I've never been a fan of Fantastic Four, and I thought, I'll read Hickman's run, and Hickman's run is good. You know, it shows the Council of Reeds and stuff like that. That's really an interesting storyline. He does a good characterization of Doom. Hickman's Doom is very, very good from what I've read from his Secret Wars. But I think it's great. I still think it's great. I still don't think I'm a Fantastic Four fan, though. But I will say this run is very good. I heard the Mark Waid run is good as well, so maybe I'll read some of that. But anyways, that's going to do it for this list. This is everything I've read so far. I'm keeping this list, and then at the very end of the year, we're going to review everything else. So, yep, this is the halfway point. These are the top 3 so far. Actually, let me move some stuff around here. There we go. That was it. That was the only thing. Yeah, so tune in at the end of the year where I'll do the rest of the books. At some point, I will release... I'm waiting till I watch Superman to do my movie tier list review. So stay tuned for that in the next couple weeks. But anyways, yes, this is everything I've read so far in 2025. Let me know how my ranking is. Let me know what your top books / comic books manga. I haven't really read a lot of manga this year, so that's why there's not any. But that'll probably change later on in the year. I'll get the manga itch. Right now, I don't really have it, but I will definitely soon. So yeah, guys, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure to share, and catch you next time. Peace.